Continuing on, stop 5 on the Douglas County Road Show. It's Douglas High School. It'll be our host here today and talking with new head coach Silia Polamalu, who's in his first year here at the program. But you're probably pretty familiar with this team. Your brother Joe used to be the coach here. And Silia, as you guys get fall camp continuing on, your first year here, how have things been going in the transition to the new head coach for the Douglas Trojans?
It's been pretty good. We've had a lot of work done this summer. The attitude from the guys has been great. Our numbers are good. And we're happy with what we're seeing so far.
I know last year the results weren't there for them, going winless on the season. Having the transition this year from what you guys were able to put together last year, is that a struggle to go to a new coach after a year where they weren't able to win, or is that actually kind of a nice thing to get a little bit of a change after a season that didn't go the way you'd like to see?
Well, there were a lot of things that went into them having that season they had last year, but we've tried to create an atmosphere where these guys were maybe having a little more fun than they were having. Maybe I wasn't here last year, so I can't say for sure, but we just really tried to put a lot of emphasis on having fun, getting these guys to compete with each other, and we've started early. We started before school even got out. I was hired late in May, and by the first week in June, we were already practicing after school, working out after school.
Well, obviously there is the connection with the last name Polamalu here at this school, but what has been your path to becoming here the head coach for the Douglas Trojans?
Well, I've been in band in the past 8 years where I was a teacher, assistant coach, and head coach there. And when there were openings here at the high school, and my wife is also a teacher and she was able to get a job at Green Elementary School, we applied and got those positions, and then the football position opened up and I applied for it and got it as well. So we're real excited about being back here, and it's been great to be home.
As you guys get started, have the numbers, has the turnout been what you'd like to see after a winless season? Many people might think that interest in the sport might start to wane a little bit, but have you seen the numbers and the interest in the sport here at Douglas continue to be on a level that you'd like to see?
Yeah, it's been at a pretty good level. Our meetings we had at the end of the school year, we were looking at high 20s. Through the summer, we got that up to the mid 30s, and we've been right about 40 so far, between 35 and 40 since practice started. So that's pretty good. That was where I was hoping we would be, 35 to 40. So we're right where we'd like to be, or we'd like to be this year. Our senior class, we only have about 5 guys out from the senior class, so that's hurting our numbers. And but we've had real good numbers from our other 3 classes, and in the junior high classes they've got real good numbers down there as well, so we're really hoping that we can bolster those numbers up over the next couple of years.
You guys, obviously a new head coach, are you planning on changing some things in the scheme-wise for this squad? Are you guys changing up the playbook quite a bit, or is it using some of the stuff that these kids learned last year?
It's quite a bit of the stuff they learned last year. The offense, we've got Mark Mose back as the offensive coordinator, and he was here with my brother the last few years he was here, and they continued to run that stuff. So it's familiar on the offensive side. On the defensive side, we're going back to a defense that Rick Taylor ran here when I was playing here, and so it's familiar for a lot of the coaches, not for the players, but they're catching on to it and doing well with it.
Obviously, you guys had the tragedy during the off season. Has that been something that has really helped this team kind of bond together? I know bonding moments for a new coach and for a new year are always kind of a big thing to get the guys kind of acting as one out there on the field. Obviously, not the way you'd like to see that happen, but has that been kind of a rallying cry for your team and something to really bring them together in a little bit of a year that has a lot of transition on it?
Well, that was a pretty tough. It's been a tough thing to deal with, and the coaches, players, parents, they're still working their way through that at different varying stages, and we've tried to just get as much of the positive out of it as possible for these guys, and have just worked really hard with these guys to help them cope with it, and then on top of that, try to bring out some of the positives we can out of it. Josh was a great young man. Everybody loved having him around, and he was a bright spot in the school and in the community. And so we've tried to emphasize those characteristics that made him that way, and really tried to focus on those things and try to encourage our guys to bring those type of characteristics out in themselves.
Yeah, got to be a tough moment for you guys to try and have to move on from and get ready for a season. I'm sure every time the guys strap them on, they think of him. But as you guys get ready for this year, back in the Far West League, who are you mentioned a small senior class? So who are some of the guys that you're leaning on as leaders out there on this squad for you this year?
Well, a couple of the seniors that we have had out, they've been out all summer. They've been a great example for the younger guys to work towards. Isaac Morgan, Connor Price, Bradley Jones. Those guys have been working really hard and been really providing a good example for the younger guys. And then out of the junior class, Braden Schultz, Carter Dahl, Michael Prowl, those guys, and a bunch more. Those guys have really worked hard. We had 20 to 25 guys out 4 days a week through the summer at 6 o'clock in the morning, and those guys being willing to come out here at that type of time and put in the work they did has trickled down to the younger guys who are coming in also, and we've been really happy at that.
Cool. Well, hey, we wish you guys the best of luck this season and in your first year here. Hopefully that Polamalu name brings a little bit of luck here back to the Douglas Trojans.
Thank you.
All right.